medicine, bandages, my will to live.
Hello, Descendants. This is Kyle again. Our game today, First Descendant, has proven to be a divisive pick out the gate. The three main issues that I've heard about tend to focus on stolen ideas, stolen assets, and swollen assets. There are also a handful of players who are concerned about the monetization of the game. I will address each of these in time, but I want to be honest with you from the start. It's true, this game doesn't have an original bone in its body, and it can be a real grindfest that does not respect your time. But at least it stole some of the fun ideas from its forebears. As to whether the moment-to-moment gameplay and mechanical depth balance out the issues the game does have, that is for you to decide. You take the role of an operator of your choice called a Descendant. Each of these characters has 4 unique abilities as well as passive powers that give them their own unique playstyles, okay, hold on. I need to get this out of the way or I'm gonna lose my mind. For those of you who don't already know, this game is cobbled together from mechanics it borrowed from the Destiny series and from Warframe. How do I know this for a fact? Let's just say this is all familiar to me. I'll try not to get too distracted by the similarities in this review, but it will happen sooner or later. Anyway, back to it. You pick your Descendant and then you're off to the races. Your job is to shoot your way through the evil alien invaders and extra-dimensional threats that are all intent on wiping out humanity. The moment-to-moment gameplay is pretty sleek. Your operators are fast-moving and responsive, allowing you to make snappy shots, and some can clear hordes of enemies with a single ability cast. You also have access to a grappling hook, giving even the slowest and steadiest playstyles some solid movement options. It's not on par with everyone's favorite Space Ninja game, but it's not trying to be. For the most part, you'll be advancing the story by cutting your way through various simple missions in the open-world environment while NPCs prattle on the background about this and that. The missions usually follow a very simple setup, be it to kill all the bad men in an area, stand in a circle until a meter gets filled up, pick up thing, put it in other thing, the list goes on. But the simple truth is that these open-world missions are meant to be uncomplicated so that you can grind them quickly and multiple times. But more on that later. I'd say there are 2 types of missions that stand out. The first being dungeons. As you clear through the story in the open world, you'll eventually reach some kind of dungeon to delve into. These missions break the mold, as they involve you clearing out an entire level of baddies, often going deep through cave systems or through crazy structures that mix old world architecture with sci-fi tech. Some simply ask that you kill all the baddies that spawn in, others will have objectives to complete, and some may even include obstacle courses. Whatever the case, shoot your way to the end and then fight the big bad boss. The bosses themselves have multiple health bars. Once you've chewed your way through the health bar, they will have some kind of invulnerability period. Some bosses like to play with their balls. Just like the people playing this game. So pop those suckers and make the boss vulnerable again. Others will summon in a bunch of goons that are leashed to them. It's just like picking a fight with a New York dog walker. You've got to take out Fifi and Fido before you can defeat the underpaid college student holding the leash. The second type of mission that really stands out is the Colossus fight. These tend to pop up as you complete an entire zone and need to be accessed from the main hub. Essentially, this dork here tells you about an interdimensional creature from the depths of human nightmare that wants to break the 4th wall and come to our world and wreck us. Or sometimes it's a big madami mommy who wants to step on us. Yeah, definitely 2 of a kind. Anyway, these colossi each have unique attacks and weaknesses. It's worth taking a few seconds to read up on the strengths and vulnerabilities so that you can prepare for the fight ahead. Shoot them up, break their weak points, and eventually you'll send them back to the void from whence they came. This has a solid level of replayability, but the other side of the coin is that it's almost mandatory replayability. I say it that way because each of the missions I mentioned comes with a drop pool of loot. This can include guns, equipment, modifications, or even crafting components to make new operators. Some of these rewards have an incredibly low chance to land in your inventory. You will be expected to replay most things if you want to get your hands on everything the game has to offer. There is a fair bit of mechanical depth in this game that largely comes from the mods you'll get along the way. You'll find mods for your Descendants and guns alike. They can do multiple things like enhancing your damage and defense, but can also impact stats that are far more specific or niche and even change your ability behaviors. Make sure to stop by your local K-pop star so that you can upgrade them to make them more effective, and then don't forget to slot them into your equipment and yourself. The variety in these mods allow you to create incredibly specific and incredibly powerful builds for each weapon and character, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled for the ones that give a boost to your specific playstyle. There are a ton of weapons in this game, ranging from handguns to rocket launchers. There's no reason to talk in depth about this, as you can pretty easily guess what each is good for. Or you could just, take your latest pew-pew stick and try it out on the forces of evil. You can easily get new weapons as mission rewards, or you'll simply find them on the ground. You'll actually be so overburdened with new firepower that you'll constantly need to throw old stuff away. It's almost like guns grow on trees in this world, just like America. The real stars here are the legendary weapons. Each has a unique and powerful ability that makes it easier to slay angry aliens. While these do open up unique opportunities to create cool builds once you reach the late game, the first one you get will just about carry you through the story. It's called the Thunder Cage, and it's a fast-firing SMG that can make enemies explode. This game involves a lot of wave clearing. A lot. Yeah, go out there and have some fun. I'm not going to talk about the story much. There's not even much to say, in my opinion. It really is just a vehicle that brings you from one area to the next, so here's the Sparks Notes version. Like I said, your descendant is tasked with shooting their way through evil aliens to save the day, and that's about it. You're chasing after 3 powerful relics that are thought to be the salvation of mankind, called Iron Hearts. The big bad, named Karel, I just call him Carl, is always one step ahead of you, and generally delights in going around being a menace. Quick side note, the naming conventions in this game are hilarious. Like we've got Commander Greg. Then this gruff beef bust of a man is called Kyle. Hey, wait a minute. Our Special Forces team is called Colin. I'm not sure if this is a collection of weird choices made by the localization team, or if it was all purpose written this way. It makes it hard for me to take anything seriously, though I don't think anyone was going to suspend their disbelief for this plot, so there's no love lost. They pull out all the generic storytelling tropes. For instance, this is Jeremy.
Get to the point.
Jeremy is the biggest, most unforgivable waste of oxygen that anyone has ever had to suffer. He has a stupid face, a stupid haircut, and every word that comes out of his mouth just makes me either cringe or unreasonably angry. Everybody you work with hates his guts. This guy would never betray us. Right? Right? At least the voice actors are generally giving serviceable performances. As with everything else in this game, the story is unoriginal to the point where, despite the unique names and settings, you'll feel like you've seen this somewhere before. Just keep shooting bad men while the NPCs go on about their tragic backstories until you can explore all the areas in the game. They have everything from the mythical land of Albion to the magical realm of Kingston? Yep, Kingston. Now we gotta address the booty in the room. I mean elephant-sized booty. Somebody told the devs that sex sells, and they were like, say less. All the girls are in skimpy outfits that leave little, if anything, to the imagination. Meanwhile, all the boys are tough soldiers in cool future armor. The sexualization of the women does stand out even in the game world because of this. Although I don't think this is any more extreme than cheerleaders at a football game. We can't even really say that this is worse than what a family-friendly company like Nintendo would bring. They have Zero Suit Samus and hecking Bayonetta. Yes, that Bayonetta. So sure, there's a lot of skin and skimpy outfits, but it's not any worse than the kind of stuff you would see by simply turning on the TV. Let's take a look at the Descendant Bunny. How about Ultimate Bunny? Her character is defined by running, jumping, and generally being athletic, so it just kind of reminded me of some of the outfits real-world athletes are wearing. I mean, here's what Simone Biles wore this year at the 2024 Paris Olympics. For those out of the loop, Simone is a gymnast that is so utterly incredible at her sport that multiple moves are named after her. It makes sense to me that she would wear an outfit that would give her legs a lot of mobility, as it would help her perform to the best of her ability. I guess that's not a super fair comparison. There's a lot more sexual intent in the First Descendant, as the camera is purposefully placed to give the player an unimpeded view of anime girl booty, whereas the Olympics only include a group of young adults in peak physical form that enjoy classy things like massive orgies. I wonder who got the gold medal for that. Finally, let's talk about monetization. Studios who make free-to-play games have to find a way to keep the lights on. It's a business after all. For the most part, we're looking at some pretty standard stuff, like unique skins, and of course there's a battle pass, because every game has a freaking battle pass these days. I think we can really start to see where the issues arise when it comes to the ultimate versions of your favorite characters. They can be bought in the store, are incredibly expensive, and also act as just a better version of the normal character with stronger abilities and stats. You can attempt to earn the ultimate versions of characters in-game, but you will have a long road ahead of you as the chance to get the parts you need for them is astronomically low and often requires multiple tedious and repetitive steps. Games like this, Warframe included, have ever given you the choice to value your time or your wallet. Either way, it will extort a high price. Now, I'm not your real dad. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your allowance. But I must admit that it can be really frustrating spending hours upon hours replaying the same content only to still not get what you want. I could see how this alone may drive some people away. Although this issue seems to be largely relegated to the most special items in the game, you can get through the early content just fine without any of it. Whatever the case, you know your wallet, and you know how much you could, or even should, spend on a game like this. Let's wrap this up. The First Descendant is the kind of game we get when someone crams the most popular games in the looter-shooter genre into a blender. There's not much original here, but perhaps imitation really is the most sincere form of flattery. And let's be real here, does anybody have any original ideas right now? Actually, hold on. Is the writer's strike over yet? I don't know anything about the legality of what's going on here, especially with the legitimately stolen icons they're using, but I'm not about to study copyright law just to talk about a sexy anime girl game. If you're willing to play a grindy looter shooter with snappy gameplay, then you may just enjoy this experience. But do know that this game will not respect your time. It has a lot of mechanical depth to sink your teeth into, but there's not really any guarantee that you'll get what you want, even after hours of gameplay. The biggest issue here is really that the game is relatively new and still lacks the variety present in other looter shooters. With time, this could build into something unique that legitimately competes with others in the genre. For now, it has a decent foundation and is definitely the one with the most waifus. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Meanwhile, so here's the thing. So Sharon is like 90% prosthetic. She had like an Anakin thing in her backstory. And they still just decided to design her robot body as...
Okay, I mean, okay, unironically though, like, full on, I get it. That, like, if you're a robot, yeah, it makes me hot.
Oh, he says as he jumps off a cliff.
Look, alright? You're already gonna have body dysmorphism. At least make it look good.
No, okay, no, that's a fair point, yeah, like...
Imagine you got RoboCop, Kyle, and they put you in an obese 700-pound body. Like,
yeah, that would really just make the whole thing worse. Yeah, no, but if they put me in like a really hot tin bod or whatever, I would handle it better. Okay. I was questioning why they had to mold like booty steel butt plates, but now I get it. Like, yes, give me the caked up booty steel butt plates as well, please. Thank you. Hey everybody, Kyle here. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank those of you who made it this far in my video. I really do appreciate you just taking the time to watch my stuff, no matter what you may think of it, and I really do appreciate that. I'd also like to give a big shout out to everyone who, over this past, I guess more than a year since I posted my last video, all of you who've stumbled upon my old stuff and watched it, and especially those of you who have left your comments about your thoughts and feelings towards my content. I mean, I've been getting so much feedback that it really has helped me a lot. This last year has just been one disaster after another for me, so it was always so nice to get the occasional person who was just telling me that they liked something I was creating out there and all that. But time to look forward, right? So moving forward, for those of you who are waiting on news for Kyle's Merc Academy, yeah, I'm sorry, that project's canceled indefinitely. But many of you were kind enough to point out that there are 2 more MechWarrior DLCs that some of you would like to see me review, so I will absolutely give that some time, as well as a few other projects I've got brewing in my head. I'm also gonna try and dip my toes into some easier content to put out there, just as an excuse to create and keep things moving forward. But seriously, thank you all so much. Have a great day. Peace.